How's it going, everybody? This is the Growing Up Italian podcast, and today we have a special episode with a dear friend, Antonio Acierno. I'm the only guy to pronounce that the right way. Right? What's up?
You're right.
How's it going, Tony?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate this.
Thanks for coming on. I'm super excited for you. I want to show everybody what you sent me. Stefano, the Italian Christmas elf.
Good
Right?
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, our first reactions on the book.
All right.
The cover, like this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting some pressure in this and it's not going anywhere.
That's the only way we do it, man. Come on now.
Like, this is literally gonna be on my coffee table, sitting like that. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pull it off. You sent me a couple of copies. I took one personally for myself, and then the other ones I put in the office. And like I had the same idea for the rest of the holiday season. Like, I want to just keep them on our table where everybody sits down and we have our meetings, and I want everybody to see this work you did, because I'm extremely like proud as an Italian to see something like this, because I've never seen like an Italian Christmas book. Like, everything I've learned about Italian Christmas has been through my family's experiences.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No problem, man. I mean, that's what we were set out to do. Like I said, when we first wrote this book, there wasn't a book for Italian children. You know what I mean? Like, I saw Dominic the Donkey. There might be one other one, but nothing with a modern spin. You know what I mean? And my son Stefano, I look at his books. I'm like, I need to do something about this. You know what I mean?
You definitely did something. I'll tell you that. And I think you really struck gold, because you guys could quote me on this. There's nothing in Christmas more trendy right now than elves. Like, the whole elf on the shelf movement is ridiculous right now. Like, I see it all over my social media. Like, friends of mine that have kids, they're going nuts trying to be creative with like where to put the elf, what he's doing, you know? So
yeah.
I think in the future, people will be like dressing up as elves more than like Santa Claus almost. Like, I could see it going that route, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I got so many family members that hit the nail, like you just said. They send every Facebook every day. They're posting a new picture. The elf came down the chimney. The elf's in the kitchen. The elf spilled the cereal. You know, like all these cool little setups they do. So I agree.
What was the best one you've seen? Like, the best scenario of an elf?
Probably the best one I've seen is the elf tied up the pet dog, like their dog. It had like rope around the leg.
That might be animal abuse. People are gonna look at this and be like, "This is wrong."
Yeah, you know? They swore they let it go. As soon as they took the picture, they swore they let it go. I don't believe them. No, I don't believe them.
Had to be 10 seconds at least. 10 seconds a dog shouldn't have had. But you know, that's the like the world we live in. You know, everybody's super sensitive. So something like this is exactly what we need. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, another thing I noticed right away is there was a biscotti recipe in the back. Like, because I actually read this whole book, and I'm excited to show my kids it. But the first thing I noticed was the recipe in the last page.
Yeah.
So
my dad.
Is this actually a real recipe? Like, if I make this, it's going to come out good?
I'll tell you what, I've tried to make it and it's never good. So, you know, you can never make it as good as Nonna, and it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? But that's
you know what it is. Nonna always leaves one ingredient out. So
I think that's what she did. It was love. I think that's what it was. She left some love out of that recipe, and I just can't get it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm reading it to see if there's anything I noticed right away. I'm gonna have to really like try it out, or have one of the girls try it out. You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, you got the connections. You got the panini shop, right? You know, some people can make some good baked goods. So
yeah, you know, we'll figure it out. But how did this all come about? Like, how does somebody go from, you know, working a 9 to 5 to creating a piece of art like this? Like, how does that happen?
I'll tell you what, man, it was a 3-year process. I sell med devices like for orthopedic company, and that's what I do. But my hobby, my personal outlet, you know, to life has always been writing books or writing poetry. I write music, you know, stuff like that.
So you ghostwrite for people?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe I'll tell you some names off the air, but not on the air.
Let me find out you're writing rap lyrics or something.
I'm not saying I don't. I can tell you that much.
All right, I see you.
But when it came down to it, man, like I said, I was having my son 3 years ago. I was talking to a coworker, and I was like, just joking around. I was like, I'm going to go to Elf Club tonight. And he was like, what's Elf Club? You know, I'm like, well, proper way to tinsel a tree. We sing Christmas carols. And he was like, you're messing with me. I'm like, no, really. He's like, you're going to bring your son Stefano when he's born? And you know, when someone misspells something, you put an asterisk and you put the right spelling. I put Stelfano. And it like clicked in my head. I'm like, Stelfano, the Italian Christmas elf. Like, I could roll with that. And I started writing that day, and that was
It's
it,
funny
man.
because the best ideas come like that out of nowhere. Like it's
100,
not forced, you know?
yeah, 100%, 100%.
So then, you get an idea. Where do you go with that idea?
So I went through a third party company that contracts business. They do like illustrations, they do voiceovers, music, all kinds of stuff. So I looked at children's book illustrations, and I found this company I liked out of Vietnam that looked kind of like the style I wanted. Like the kind of what you said, put it on your coffee table type of vibe, beautiful illustration. But my answers were 12-hour turnarounds. They didn't know what a stocking was. I just sent them a Google image of what a stocking was. I'm like, this is gonna take a decade, before I finish. So I went on Instagram. Instagram's amazing, man. The stuff that you could find. I searched the hashtag illustrations, Norman Rockwell, stuff like that, and I found my illustrator, man. Stay-at-home mom of 2 in Nebraska.
How long did it take you to find her?
Took me probably 2 months to find her, and I looked almost
Hey,
every day.
we're seeing a trend here with this story, that consistency, right?
Yeah,
3
100%.
years for the book, 2 years just for an illustrate. Like, a lot of people, they say they want to do something and then they give up after they realize, oh wow, this is work. Like people expect things just to happen.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I have probably 15 to 20 stories I've written that I truly enjoy that I think would be very successful. But it hit a point with this story where I felt passionate enough to financially back it. And also, it reminded me of my son. So it was kind of something that had a passion, a fire for our community, for my culture, for my dad, for my nonna. And that's really what pushed me to go 3 years into this project. Some of the other ones I might have nixed it early. Once the first company didn't work out, I might have been like, hey, this isn't meant to be. But with this one, man, I felt like Italians needed this, and even spouses, friends of Italians. You know what I mean? You don't have to be Italian to enjoy this book.
Yeah, anybody could enjoy this book. Honestly, I remember we were saying, like, it's funny that you'll see people without the vowels in the last name be the first people to support
Yeah.
you. And especially, when it comes to time to, like, show your real support, when it comes to like putting your credit card in a checkout button, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
it means the world to have people support you. But this book is incredible, and I was looking through a couple of pages, and if it's cool, I want to show them one page that I really like.
Yeah, man, go for it.
And by the way, I don't know if this is like a spoiler alert, but the Italian elf is definitely the cook. Like, I don't know if we had to I don't know if we have to explain that to anybody.
Yeah.
Explain why. But the one book I really liked was right here. He's
Oh
cooking,
yeah.
he's
The
cooking some
calamari. Yep.
some mozzarella.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, like, this is like a real, like, authentic piece of Italian culture that you could own in your house. I've never seen anything similar to this.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's kind of funny. One of those things. The way I write a couple lines, and I say those lines over and over and over again until the next line comes to me. So by the end of the book, I know the whole book off by heart. So when I would tell friends and family about this project, only close friends and family, that I was working on it, I could recite.
the book. Yeah, you spit the book.
I could recite the whole book, man. And they were like,
That's really being an artist, bro. That's like being a singer or a rapper. Because I've seen, singers in the studio in that zone, and
yeah,
like you said, they'll repeat the same line until, like,
yeah,
okay, this rhymes, this goes. Like, okay, I should say that instead. Like,
yeah.
how people get in their zone.
Like I said, man, when we get off the air, I'll rap for you. I'll do whatever you need me to do over here, man. I'll show you the talent.
Yeah, I want to see it. After, I'll definitely ask for a quick 16. Like, give me an Italian rhyme.
Yeah, yeah. But
Maybe you could do that too. Like, be an Italian rapping Christmas elf. Like,
yeah, I don't think, man, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, man.
you never know.
Yeah.
So how long was that process of actually writing the book? Was it like one night, like, I got it?
I mean, I'm sure you've had ideas like this when the creative juices are flowing, you don't want to stop, you know? So when that came to me, I wrote it in probably 5 hours. And then, yeah, and then when I was done with it, obviously, like I compared it to the length of other stories, you know, other New York Times bestsellers. I used them as an outline, you know, what books were successful that I could mimic the length. I can mimic each page, kind of, you know, like what's going to keep a child engaged or even like a young child, like an older child, you know, like 8, 9, 10 years old. So the overall process of adding and everything was probably a month, but the initial story is about 5 hours. I knocked it out. So
It's like from going back and forth to like, you know,
yeah,
but did you change a lot or the meat and potatoes were still there,
the meat and potatoes were there. It was just adding more detail. You know what I mean? Like all the different pasta names. You know, at first it was just talking about just pasta as just like a general item. You know, and I added all the names. You know, little stuff like that.
right? Little fettuccine. I saw that.
Yeah,
All the shapes that we argue about.
yeah, yeah,
I mean that's what I really like because like you really don't see that in a Christmas book ever. Like, and what would you say is like for someone that never had like a Christmas book or because now like my age and I'm sure your age is when we're kind of being like reminded of what we went through growing up. You know what I'm saying? So like now it's like now that I have my own little ones, I'm like, oh wow, I gotta put that face on and like do go extra crazy with the Elf on the Shelf because I
yeah.
know how much it means to my kids. So like for somebody that's watching, like would you say it's like I could kind of say it's like kind of like the Grinch, but in Italian version, like it's not. I could see this being like an iconic piece of literature. Like
Yeah. I mean, the end goal was to make this an Italian Christmas classic, nothing less. I mean, this wasn't something that we, like you said, there's a lot of work put in the illustrations. I mean, at least 200 phone calls between me and the illustrator.
oh my god,
Between, she would send me 3 designs. I would pick one of the designs and then we would change that design 3 or 4 times. And that was every page. There's 30 pages in the book, but what's cool about it is this book doesn't feel long. It keeps you engaged. And by the time you get to the end,
how many pages is it again?
it's 30 pages, but it
Yeah,
doesn't feel like 30. I mean, you blow through them,
yeah, good.
and
These are the kind of books I like. That's more about the image than the words.
yeah, yeah,
No, you like line up here, line up there, dope picture, line
yeah,
up here, line up there,
yeah.
the picture.
I'll
These
tell you
are my
what.
kind of books.
Yeah, yeah. Like especially like you've had little ones. When you're reading them before bed, you're tired. You worked all day. You don't want to read a book that's like going to take you 35 minutes, before they go to bed. So
But also, you just make them look at the picture for 30 seconds, a minute, and then the next line. Like so
yeah,
that you learn the book as well. But like I will tell you one thing, I give you credit because the illustrator you picked is great. Like if you ask Sabino tomorrow to illustrate, like help find an illustrator for an Italian Christmas elf, it would be like something that looks like South Park or something. Like,
yeah.
this does not look like that. Like this is like quality, you know?
Thanks, man. And it's funny that you said about the elf on a shelf, like keeping your kid engaged and stuff.
Mhm.
This character in this book, if the parent feels proud and happy to read it, they're gonna feel engaged. It's not gonna feel like a chore for them to like, hey, look at this, be excited about this. You're gonna be excited, which is gonna show that your kid, your kids are excited what you're excited about.
I think a big reason that we connected right away was because it's kind of similar to what we're doing on our page, is like trying to keep traditions alive.
Yeah.
So what other easier way to try to keep like Italian Christmas traditions alive in a year where you might not have your whole family sitting down eating,
Yeah.
making 7 fishes, making mozzarella, making pasta. Now we have a book where you're showing that this is what happens on Christmas time. So
Yeah.
like for me, even though it's like a weird time in the world, it's so important that we have something like this because you could start showing your kids at a young age, like, this is what we do. This is who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what Christmas and Christmas Eve is.
Yeah, pride. I mean, I want to generate pride in our community, and you look at it, it's kind of cool little details like you see the kids helping clean up the kitchen, you see them in the kitchen while he's cooking, And that's what we do here. Anytime we make homemade pasta, even though my son's 3 years old, he makes more of a mess than helps. I want
He
him
likes to do it. He likes to do it. Yeah, yeah.
he got his hands in the flour, the egg, he's mixing it all up, he's pouring olive oil in. And I mean, man, those are the memories, man. And that's what we were set out to.
My daughter's like that too. She always wants to
Oh,
make,
yeah.
not my son, but my daughter's like that.
Yeah.
My
Half of
son
the
just wants to
flour.
play. But I could see like for something like this, like action figures, like little figures, making your own version of Elf on the Shelf, like a little with a mustache,
Oh, yeah.
and like we said, it being played out, like you said, like a little movie or a little series, because
Oh, yeah.
that's the ultimate goal, I think, for you.
Yeah. I mean, you see, we have a couple of favorite authors and illustrators for my son. Before I wrote this book, now I'm his favorite author. No, I'm just playing. He still has his favorites, but those authors get some short series on Netflix. They get a short story on Amazon Prime. I would see that eventually going there. I really think it's unique enough. And like I said, I think the audience they need something like this. And I think maybe even a Broadway or a musical or some sort of play in the way future. But maybe I'll start working on that here soon. Try to collaborate with some people.
As we wind this down, where could people find a book? Like, I'll put the link in the bio, but
So
tell them, yeah.
Yeah, so you can go on Etsy because we weren't sure we were going to get it in time. So we're going to have it on Amazon next year, so that's coming. But right now, go on Etsy, search Stelfano, the Italian Christmas elf, or if you check out his Instagram, we got a Stelfano Instagram.
Yeah.
You go on there, and the links in the bio, and that's it, man. And now that we've sold so many copies now that if you Google the name, stuff pops up. We got
There you go. There you go.
podcast. I was on a small news station that pops up, and then the link to Etsy pops up too. So.
You're building up the catalog, man.
Trying, man. We're trying. We just want to get it out there to the people. So
I wish you much success on your endeavors, man. I really see this going somewhere, and I'm glad we linked this early in the process. So if there's any way I could help you, that I'm there for you.
Sabino, I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I hope you all enjoy your holidays, your Merry Christmas. We should say Merry Christmas,
Oh yeah, Buon Natale.
Buon Natale, everybody. Ciao.
Buon Natale. Ciao.